In this example, it looks like we have ourselves a little bit of matrix multiplication with a matrix equation as well. And it looks like we have variables A, that happens a couple of places. We have B here and here and here. We have C here and here. And it looks like so we're trying to solve for those three values. So let's take a look at this multiplication that's occurring real quick. So we have this 2 by 2 square matrix, and we're multiplying that by this 2 by 3 matrix. And so these inner values are the same, so of course we can do this multiplication. And the product matrix should come out to be 2 by 3, which 2 by 3, yeah, it is. Okay, so let's go ahead and set up this multiplication, kind of look through what this is going to look like. Okay, so I'm going to rewrite this guy down here as 50b4. And then we had this, that we're multiplying it by, was negative b, negative 7, negative 3a plus 1, negative c, negative 1. And of course, that product is going to go right here where we have the 4c, negative 25, negative 7a, another negative 7a, negative 10b, and negative 4. Okay, so this value, we'll just start one at a time. This value 4c came from coming across this row and down this column and multiplying. So what it looks like we can do is set up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different equations. Obviously we're only trying to find the value for 3 variables, so we only need 3 equations as long as they're unique equations. But it looks like we've got some overkill, and that's okay. We'll write the equations, see what we have, and see how we can tackle it. So we're coming across this row down this column. So 5 times negative b is negative 5b. And then we have b times negative 7, so minus 7b. And we're going to say that equals 4c. Well, I can clean that up a little bit. Negative 12b equals 4c. So I could do a quick division by 4. And it looks like negative 3b equals c. So I could use that for substitution perhaps later on. Okay, so this negative 25, we're going to come across this row and down this column. So 5 times negative 3 is negative 15. B then times, and so we're going to add b times a plus 1, and that's going to give us negative 25. So I could go ahead and add 15 to both sides, kind of get rid of that guy. Well, this ends up looking like ab plus b equals, what's that going to be, negative 10? Well, I don't like this multiplication of a and b together. That makes it a little challenging maybe to solve for a or b. And that's okay, so let's go ahead and look at this next one. So negative 7a is the product. We got them 5 times negative c, so negative 5c, and then b times negative 1, so minus b, and that equaled negative 7a. Okay, so here's another equation we can use. Let's go ahead and look at this negative 7a here. We like having a 0 in here because that takes away one of the terms. So the 0 times negative b, well, that just makes 0. So it looks like 4 times negative 7, which is negative 28, that will equal negative 7a. Well, that's fantastic because now we can go ahead and divide both sides by negative 7, and it looks like the value for a is going to be 4. And that's fabulous. I wonder where all we can put that. Well, it looks like we can go ahead and put it right there. So negative 5c minus b equals, well, negative 28. And then I could go ahead and use this c equals negative 3b. So c equals negative 3b minus b equals negative 28. And it looks like we're done. We don't even need to do any more of these because it looks like we have a sufficient number of equations to get the job done. So 15b minus b equals negative 28. So this 14b equals negative 28. When I go ahead and divide by 14, looks like b equals negative 2. Okay, let's go ahead and plug that back in and solve for c. Well, we said c was negative 3 times the value for b. So negative 3 times that value of b equals c. C equals 6. So in this case, we know that a is 4, b is negative 2, and c is 6. And if you were to plug those in up here in this initial equation for all the multiplication, you would see that it works out just fine. So that's how we can solve these, is by going through and checking out this multiplication, kind of looking at the process. So we put the first one here, the second one here, and the product matrix here. It's easier to visualize this way. So you come across the row, down the column, and that's where this guy comes from. And you can set up a series of equations and then solve that system, and blammo, you've got your values.